In the endless depths of space, far beyond the bright lights of known stars and the crowded worlds of advanced civilizations, a small group of scientists in the Galactic Council's observation hub gathered around glowing monitors, their faces etched with concern. For weeks, strange signals had been coming from a distant blue planet called Earth, a world mostly ignored and dismissed by the galactic powers as insignificant and primitive. These signals weren't like anything seen before: complex patterns of electromagnetic pulses, bursts of information, encoded with a sophistication that suggested rapid technological advancement. Yet when the data reached the council chambers, most leaders brushed it off as routine interference or a natural cosmic phenomenon, unwilling to believe that a young planet like Earth could be anything more than a fledgling civilization fumbling through its infancy. The dismissive attitude was rooted in centuries of prejudice, born from the belief that only ancient and powerful species deserved attention. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, beneath swirling clouds and across vast oceans, humanity carried on unaware of the scrutiny from distant watchers. Scientists at a global space agency detected an unusual cosmic anomaly approaching their solar system, an enormous wave of energy and particles that could disrupt every satellite and space station. Despite the warnings, governments argued and delayed coordinated action, caught in their own political struggles. Far above, hidden in the shadows of their observation posts, alien eyes tracked Earth's frantic efforts to understand and prepare for the coming threat. The planet's people scrambled to build defenses, to innovate, to survive, and they did so with a fierce determination that confounded the observers. Earth's technological leaps, advancements in energy, communication, and defense, happened faster than anyone predicted, fueled by humanity's unyielding spirit. The Galactic Council began to hear whispers of concern from some of its members who urged a closer watch, but their voices were drowned out by those clinging to the old beliefs. "It's just a planet," they said. "It cannot be a threat." Yet the more Earth adapted, the more it challenged those assumptions. On Earth, scientists discovered ways to convert the anomaly's energy into a power source, turning potential destruction into opportunity. They sent exploratory missions into orbit to study the phenomenon, risking everything to unlock its secrets. At the same time, Earth's radio telescopes picked up faint transmissions from unknown origins, possible messages from other species, or perhaps echoes of the cosmic forces at play. The tension grew as the anomaly drew nearer, casting a shadow of uncertainty over every decision made by Earth's leaders and every calculation done by its scientists. Across the galaxy, the Council's debates intensified behind closed doors. Some feared Earth's unchecked growth and adaptability could one day challenge galactic order. Others saw potential for a new ally, a fresh source of innovation and strength. But the Council's inertia prevailed, and the warnings faded into the background noise of politics and routine business. Then, one quiet night, Earth's early warning. Systems detected the anomaly's arrival, an immense, swirling storm of energy that threatened to alter the balance of the entire solar system. Satellites flickered, power grids trembled, and humanity held its breath, facing the greatest unknown it had ever encountered. And somewhere in the shadows beyond, the Watchers of the Stars realized too late that the warnings about Earth had been ignored, and what followed would shock the entire galaxy. The deep silence of space was broken one day when a massive, sleek ship slipped into Earth's solar system, its dark hull shimmering faintly against the stars, moving slowly but with undeniable purpose. Scientists monitoring the skies were the first to notice the alien vessel, though their initial reports were met with disbelief and confusion. Earth had long dreamed of making contact with beings beyond its world, but the reality was far more sudden and unsettling than anyone had imagined. This ship was not here to greet or to share. It was here to assess and possibly to control. As it hovered in the vastness of space near the outer planets, its sensors began scanning Earth's atmosphere and surface, triggering alarms in space agencies and defense organizations worldwide. The governments of Earth scrambled to communicate, sending out messages in every language, every frequency, hoping to make peaceful contact. The response, when it came, was cold and clinical. A simple transmission that ignored the warmth of Earth's greetings, instead demanding information and compliance. People around the globe watched with a mixture of awe and fear as the alien ship continued its quiet surveillance, its presence a constant reminder that Earth was no longer alone or ignored. Scientists worked frantically to understand the ship's technology, finding that it used systems unlike anything humanity had yet encountered, a combination of advanced energy manipulation and intricate data processing that seemed almost alive. The alien crew inside the vessel observed Earth carefully, their own reactions a blend of curiosity and caution. They had come expecting a simple, backward planet, easy to study and, if necessary, control. But what they found was different. Cities full of lights that never dimmed, machines and computers operating on levels far beyond their predictions, and most surprising of all, a species that did not cower or flee, but stood tall and ready to defend its home. The alien commanders debated their next move. They could send down envoys, demand submission, or leave quietly, reporting back that Earth was no threat. But something about humanity's spirit, its fierce will to survive and adapt, gave them pause. On Earth, the people faced a moment of reckoning. As the alien ship continued to scan and probe, humanity's leaders convened emergency meetings, trying to decide how to respond to this unprecedented challenge. The fear of the unknown was matched only by a growing resolve not to be treated as a lesser species. Scientists and engineers collaborated across borders, using the data collected to build new defenses and communication systems designed to meet the alien technology on equal footing. The world united in a way it never had before, driven by a common purpose that transcended old rivalries and doubts. At the same time, ordinary people experienced a mix of wonder and anxiety. Some saw the alien visitors as a threat to be feared, others as an opportunity to reach beyond the stars. News broadcasts and social media buzzed with theories, hopes, and fears, while children looked up at the night sky, dreaming of what the future might hold. The alien ship sent a small craft toward Earth's orbit, a silent gesture that could have been either an invitation or a warning. As the craft descended, Earth's defense systems were ready, tracking its every move, prepared to respond if needed. When the craft landed, the beings inside stepped forward, tall, slender figures with features unfamiliar yet oddly expressive, their eyes reflecting intelligence and caution. They spoke not with words, but through devices that translated their intentions. They sought to study, to learn, and to ensure that Earth did not become a danger to the wider galaxy. Humanity's response was firm but open. Earth was no longer willing to be ignored or controlled, and it would defend itself with every means available. The meetings that followed between humans and aliens were tense and filled with uncertainty, each side trying to understand the other's motives and fears. The aliens were surprised by Earth's rapid progress in technology and its unexpected courage, while humans grappled with the reality of being under the watchful eyes of a civilization far older and more powerful. As days turned into weeks, both sides learned from each other, sometimes clashing, sometimes finding common ground. Earth's people proved their worth not just through technology, but through creativity, adaptability, and an unbreakable will to survive and thrive. The alien visitors began to report back to their leaders that Earth was unlike any planet they had encountered, an unpredictable force of nature that could not be easily controlled or dismissed. And so, what began as an unwelcome intrusion turned into the first chapter of a story that would shake the stars and change the fate of a small blue world forever, a story of courage, discovery, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The vast chambers of the Galactic Council, nestled within a colossal space station orbiting a distant star, buzzed with tension as delegates from hundreds of star systems gathered to debate the unexpected emergence of Earth. For centuries, Earth had been a distant whisper, a barely noticed dot in the sprawling cosmos, its warnings and signals dismissed as insignificant or misunderstood. Now, reports from the scout ship sent to observe had changed everything. The once dismissed planet was no longer just a curiosity. It was a rapidly evolving force, demonstrating technological leaps that rivaled many established civilizations. The council chamber, with its high domed ceilings and walls adorned with holographic maps of galaxies, filled with voices raised in argument. Some delegates insisted Earth was a dangerous anomaly that could upset the delicate balance of power. They feared that if left unchecked, humanity's unpredictable nature and fast advancement might challenge the authority and control the Council had maintained for millennia. Others argued for patience and diplomacy, suggesting Earth could become an invaluable ally, a new source of innovation and strength in an era where the galaxy faced threats far greater than any one world. Secret meetings unfolded behind closed doors, as a shadowy faction grew impatient, convinced that Earth should be brought to heel before its influence spread further. They believed that force was necessary to maintain order and that the planet's defiance could not be allowed to inspire other young worlds. Back on Earth, humanity's progress was startling. Scientists had not only decoded fragments of alien technology, but had begun integrating these discoveries into their own systems, accelerating their defense and communication capabilities. The planet's leaders worked tirelessly to unify humanity, realizing that cooperation was the key to survival in this new, wider universe. Messages sent to the Galactic Council revealed a confident and resilient species, one that refused to bow or hide. News of Earth's resistance and rapid growth spread quickly through the galaxy, sparking debates and reshaping alliances. Some older civilizations secretly reached out to Earth, intrigued by this bold newcomer who dared to stand against the galaxy's traditional powers. Meanwhile, within the Council, the atmosphere thickened with unease. Votes were taken, alliances tested, and strategies planned. Some suggested isolating Earth through economic sanctions and technological blockades. Others pushed for a show of military strength to intimidate the humans into submission. But each plan came with risks. Earth's unpredictability and growing alliances meant that a heavy-handed approach could ignite a broader conflict. The Council's leaders found themselves caught between fear and fascination, unable to agree on a path forward. As debates raged, Earth sent a bold envoy to the Council station, requesting a seat at the table, not as a subject, but as an equal participant. The move shocked many, forcing the Council to confront the reality that humanity was no longer a distant, powerless world, but a player demanding respect. The envoy's words echoed through the chamber, emphasizing humanity's desire for peace, but also its readiness to defend its place in the cosmos. The Council was forced to reckon with its own biases and the consequences of years of dismissal. Yet, amidst this upheaval, the rogue faction prepared in secret. Their fleet, cloaked and ready, waited for the moment to strike, convinced that swift action was the only way to preserve the old order. On Earth, intelligence networks intercepted whispers of this plan, raising alarms and prompting urgent preparations for defense. The galaxy held its breath as two futures stood at a crossroads, one of conflict and domination, the other of cooperation and change. The Galactic Council's reckoning was not just about Earth. It was a test of the galaxy's capacity to evolve, to embrace the unknown, and to face the consequences of long-held prejudices. In the quiet before the storm, both sides prepared for what was to come, knowing that the fate of many hung in the balance, and that the story of a small blue planet was about to reshape the stars forever. The day the fleet arrived was unlike any other in human history, a day marked by a silence so thick it seemed to press down on every city, every heart, as the massive warships of the rogue faction slipped through the black void toward Earth with cold precision. These ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen, hulking, imposing, armed with weapons capable of destroying entire continents in moments. For months, Earth had been preparing, piecing together every bit of alien technology they had recovered, every scrap of information about their invaders, turning their once divided nations into a united front. Cities had converted factories to produce new defensive systems, while engineers worked night and day to strengthen satellite networks, build energy shields, and develop cyber defenses. Governments set aside old conflicts, recognizing the threat was existential. When the first warships entered the solar system's outer edges, the world watched as Earth's newly minted defense fleets, made up of modified satellites and newly launched ships, moved to intercept. But the true battle was not just in space, it was in the invisible realm of information warfare, hacking, and strategy. Human cyber warriors unleashed a barrage of digital attacks aimed at crippling the invaders' communication systems, confusing their navigation and sowing chaos. The rogue fleet, designed for brute force, found itself struggling against an enemy it could not predict. A planet that fought not just with weapons, but with brains, adaptability, and unbreakable resolve. As the fleet advanced, Earth's forces executed hit-and-run tactics, using smaller, faster ships to harass the invaders and vanish before retaliation. On the surface, civilians prepared bunkers, trained emergency responders, and held onto hope, their fear mingled with fierce pride. The alien commanders were stunned. Their intelligence had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt so quickly and to fight so relentlessly. Each attack they planned was met with unexpected resistance. Their technology hacked and turned against them, their supply lines disrupted by Earth's ingenuity. The siege that was supposed to be swift and decisive stretched into weeks, and then months as Earth's defenders held their ground. The rogue faction's morale faltered as their ships sustained damage and their carefully laid plans unraveled. Rumors spread across the galaxy of Earth's unexpected victories, stories of a fierce species that refused to be conquered. Even some factions within the Galactic Council, watching the conflict from afar, began to question whether their plan to crush Earth had been wise. Amidst the fighting, Earth's leaders reached out once more to the Council and other alien civilizations, seeking allies and support. Secret emissaries found unexpected sympathy from species long oppressed by the Council's rigid control, those who saw in humanity a kindred spirit and a spark of hope for change. As new alliances formed, Earth's defenses grew stronger and more sophisticated, combining human creativity with alien technology shared by their newfound friends. The rogue fleet, now isolated and weakened, faced a choice: continue a losing battle or retreat and rethink their strategy. In a moment that surprised everyone, the leaders of the rogue faction ordered a withdrawal, signaling the end of the siege before it had truly begun. Earth had not only survived the threat, but had transformed it into a symbol of resilience and unity. The galaxy took notice, and whispers began of a new power rising, one born from defiance and determination. The siege that never was became a turning point, not just for Earth, but for the entire cosmic order, proving that even against overwhelming odds, the spirit of a single world could change the fate of stars. In the quiet aftermath of the unexpected retreat by the rogue faction, Earth's leaders and defenders found themselves in a new kind of battle. One fought not only in the open, but also in the hidden corridors of galactic politics and shadowy networks far beyond human sight. As Earth rebuilt and strengthened its defenses, new messages began to arrive, encrypted and secret, from distant corners of the galaxy that many on Earth had never heard of, sent by species long forgotten or forced into hiding by the Galactic Council's harsh rule. These were not grand diplomatic offers or official alliances, but whispers of support from the shadows, small factions and rebel groups who had suffered under the Council's dominance and saw in Earth a spark of hope and rebellion. Some were former slaves of the Council, others were exiled scientists and explorers, all united by a common belief that the galaxy needed change, and that humanity's fierce will to survive and grow was the key. As Earth scientists and diplomats cautiously opened these channels, they learned of technologies and knowledge that had been suppressed for centuries, secrets of advanced energy sources, stealth technologies, and communication methods that could evade even the most sophisticated surveillance. These allies did not come openly, fearing the Council's reach, but their gifts and information helped Earth to leap forward, bolstering defenses and expanding their reach beyond the solar system. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, remained unaware of the growing coalition, still reeling from the failed siege and unsure how to respond to the resilient planet that refused to be broken. But within the Council, fractures deepened as some member species began to question the old ways and sympathize secretly with Earth's cause. This internal discord gave the coalition time to grow stronger and more organized, sharing strategies and coordinating efforts through hidden networks that the Council's surveillance could not penetrate. Earth's leaders knew this alliance was fragile, built on trust between strangers with their own histories and fears, but they also recognized it as vital to their future. As the coalition expanded, so did Earth's ambitions, with exploratory missions sent beyond the known borders, guided by the knowledge shared from these shadow allies. Humanity began to understand the true scale of the galaxy, vast, diverse, and filled with untold possibilities and dangers. The alliances brought new challenges too: mistrust among species, conflicting goals, and the constant threat of discovery. By the Council meant that every step forward required caution and wisdom. Yet despite these difficulties, the Coalition's shared vision was clear: a galaxy where no world was dismissed or controlled, where freedom and innovation could flourish. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council scrambled to uncover the sources of this growing resistance, deploying spies and surveillance probes. But the Coalition remained elusive, always a step ahead, adapting and hiding in the shadows of space. Earth's reputation blossomed not just as a survivor, but as a beacon of hope and change, inspiring other oppressed worlds to quietly rise and contribute to the growing movement. The stage was set for a confrontation far more complex than any battle of ships and weapons, a struggle for the soul of the galaxy itself. In this web of hidden allies, secret plans, and daring missions, Earth found strength not only in its own people, but in the unexpected friendship of those who had long waited for a chance to fight back against tyranny. As the stars watched silently, the quiet forces from the shadows prepared to change the galaxy's fate, standing beside humanity to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united by hope and the unbreakable spirit of those who dare to dream of a better future. As the first light of a new galactic era dawned over Earth, the planet that had once been dismissed as insignificant now stood at the center of a vast and complex web of alliances, rivalries, and hope that stretched across the stars. The quiet hum of cities had grown into a symphony of progress, where human ingenuity, combined with the secret knowledge shared by their shadow allies, had transformed Earth into a beacon of innovation and resilience. From the smallest towns to sprawling metropolises, People looked up at the sky with a new sense of pride, knowing their world was no longer a forgotten speck, but a rising power in the cosmos. Governments that once squabbled over resources and borders now worked together with a unified vision to secure Earth's place among the stars and to promote peace and cooperation across species. Yet beneath the surface of this hopeful future, the challenges remained immense. The Galactic Council, though weakened and divided, still held vast influence and many loyal members who resisted change. They viewed Earth's rise with suspicion and plotted to reassert their control, unwilling to accept a new order where power was shared rather than hoarded. The fragile alliances forged in the shadows faced constant tests as old fears and rival ambitions threatened to unravel the delicate balance. But Earth's leaders, hardened by years of struggle and survival, met these challenges with a determination that inspired even their most doubtful allies. Diplomats and strategists worked tirelessly, navigating a maze of political intrigue and cultural differences, seeking common ground while preparing for potential conflict. At the same time, humanity's explorers pushed beyond familiar space, charting new worlds, establishing outposts, and inviting other civilizations to join the growing community of free planets. Each discovery brought new questions, new mysteries, and new opportunities to prove that Earth's spirit was not limited by its origins, but fueled by its dreams. Back on the homeworld, scientists continued to unlock the secrets of alien technology, blending it with human creativity to build starships, faster and stronger, communication networks clearer and more secure, and defenses more resilient than ever before. The education of the next generation embraced this new reality, teaching children not only about Earth's history, but about the galaxy's diverse cultures and the responsibilities that came with their newfound role. As the years passed, Earth became a hub of culture and commerce, a place where ideas and innovations flowed freely across species, breaking down barriers and forging friendships that once seemed impossible. Yet the memory of conflict and the threat of the Council's return lingered like a shadow, reminding all that peace was fragile and vigilance necessary. In secret, Earth's leaders maintained a readiness force, trained and equipped to respond to any aggression, while their diplomats worked tirelessly to build trust and cooperation. The galaxy watched as this small blue planet, once ignored and underestimated, carved out a place for itself with a mix of courage, wisdom, and compassion. The story of Earth's rise became a legend told across star systems, a tale of defiance against dismissal, unity in the face of division, and hope born from hardship. As new stars were explored and new friendships forged, Earth's dawn in the galactic era was not just a beginning for humanity, but a promise that even the smallest voices could change the course of history. The future remained uncertain, filled with both promise and peril, but Earth stood ready, its spirit unbroken, its eyes fixed on the endless night, knowing that whatever came next, it would face the stars together with allies, courage, and an unyielding will to shine.